Hello and welcome. This is Christian Fink for IPTECHVIEW, ABP-Tech International and ABP-Tech Canada. In the last couple of weeks I got a couple of support requests regarding the Mobotix Door Station. The Mobotix Door Station is a very well proven product which started with the T24 and went to the T25, and now the current model is the T26. It is very modular, it has a huge feature set and is super flexible in its usage. But to configure it properly, people normally need some guidance, which I'm happy to help with. So please stay tuned. There will be a part 1 which explains the T26, how to program it properly using the Mobotix-only version, and then in part 2 I'll show you how much better it can be by configuring it and provisioning it with our IPTECHVIEW platform. Now stay tuned and I hope this gets interesting. So, as mentioned, the T26 or the door station is a very modular product. You can combine it in multiple ways. This is the base module. It has a bell button and it has a light button. Down here is a keypad. Now I'm not explaining the keypad today, so I unplugged it from the main unit. It's not connected. I would have to cover this in part 3. I want to really focus on the core features and how to program or configure the camera correctly today. So let's focus on the T26 here. The first thing you should do is to start the auto configuration process. Now the manual tells you to do that by pushing the bell button when the unit is basically booting up. So I'll show you how that works. You unplug the camera, so it's unplugged. You are plugging it in, and then we wait for these two LEDs on those buttons to basically light up. So not yet. Sorry, I have to turn my head a little bit so I see it better. And when this is, we push the bell button for a little bit until you see the buttons flashing 3 times. It takes a little bit. Come on. Okay, so now the camera, now we can push it. And that's it. Now, as you surely will agree, this is a very challenging task. Looking here, if I've done this in blue sky and bright sunshine, and there was no way I could see those lights popping up. So I'll show you a better way. Okay, so let me switch to the camera here. So this is a completely resetted camera. Now first I have to give it a password, so I'll take my usual 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 password and hit check and apply, and now we're in. So the first thing I'll do is I'll switch that display mode from panorama to full image, because I like the hemispheric view. I like that it really shows me everything, and it is a true 180 degree view downwards, upwards, right and left, which means nobody can hide anything. If somebody hides a baseball bat on their lower section, lower torso, most cameras, most door cameras with a 90 degree view won't show you that. So I like the hemispheric view. The next thing I'll do, I'll reduce the resolution, because there's absolutely no need to get such a high resolution for a live stream. It's more importantly how it records. Now you do see this exclamation mark in the upper right corner, and this is only because I disconnected the keypad. So I'll prove that to you. If I log into the camera through the admin menu And I'll skip this wizard here. And now if I go down to MX management, manage MX bus modules, you will see that here's an error message. So just ignore that. This is only because I disconnected the keypad. Otherwise the camera is fully functional. Okay, now this is a brand new camera, so nothing is configured yet. The first thing you would like to do is you take the IP address of the camera and then add a little bit behind it. You type in admin and then IP phone, IP phone underscore AutoConfig. This is an older hidden menu, and unfortunately it never became part of the original admin menu. And now you have a button here, and it's the second button from the left, configure selected devices. Please do me one favor, and I'm not responsible for you playing around with the other buttons. Do not use the other buttons. I mean, there's no self-destruct, but it can basically really screw up your whole system. So if you like doing things over and over again, please feel free to play with the other buttons. If you're smart, only use the second button, nothing else. So if you click this button, it starts the auto configuration process. Now, if you do have a T24 or a T25, older modules with only single core processor, this can and you have lots of modules connected, this can take a while, up to 5 minutes. When Mobotix started with the T24, there was a running joke. You push that button and then you, oh, my little helper here, and then you go and get yourself a coffee, and when you're back, it's done. So everything else here you can ignore. Of course, the camera found my other cameras, and I'm not concerned with them at the moment, not at all. So I basically just click close, I say OK, and now we'll check out what happened on the camera side level. So if I go back to the camera, I just refresh the page here so that we have a live picture. And if I now go to setup menu, and I'm going here into the event overview, you should now see in the internal events a ring event. This is the only indicator that the auto provisioning or auto configuration has properly worked. So if you do not see this, stop here, go back. You might even have to do a factory reset of the camera. I've done that multiple times with other devices. If the factory reset, if the auto configuration doesn't work, then you have to basically factory reset and do this again. Okay, so it might be a little bit work, but you have to see this ring. If this ring is not there, and you will see also some signal events like the camera buttons now, then the internal concierge service is not activated, which means the video door station and the bell behavior and video mailbox won't work. Okay, so make sure the auto configuration is done properly. Now, the next steps are to configure what's left. So you can go into your usernames and passwords. I'm not doing that at the moment. You should give yourself potentially a static IP address, right, by switching the DHCP off. Now, I'm not doing that today either. And then we're going down to other settings like the time and date. That's important. So no, we're not in Europe, we're in Canada, we're on mountain time, we want an NTP server, so I use the canadapool.ntp.org. I click set. Okay, so now everything seems fine, right? And it is. There's nothing wrong. The LEDs, we don't need to worry about those. I click store permanently, and now I'm switching into my setup menu. In the setup menu, again, the usual options, and this is not a general Mobotix training, right? This is really just a quick setup so that you see how the door station part works. However, one little hint here. In the original configuration, after the auto configuration process, there is no image analysis event, which means basically the camera would not record by motion detection. I highly recommend you go in there, you add a profile, make this an activity sensor profile with the whole image. The 33 is all good, this can all stay. Depending on where you live, potentially detect fast motion or not, that is more a sensitivity switch, one of the many. So I'll leave this on for now, and I click set. Then I go back and check, yeah, now I have my image analysis event. Now I can go into the recording section and first of all arm the recording, again brand new camera. And now I can tell the camera when to start recording. And as you can see here, well, we could select all, but I want you to understand what's happening. So everything with the gray background here is basically a trigger point to start the recording. So we have the internal ring event, we have the camera bell button. Now it would make sense to add the camera light button. I'm holding the control key down while I do this, as well as the image analysis activity sensor. Then the camera starts already recording when somebody is coming close. Now, recording time before event. My recommendation is 3 to 5 seconds because the camera always records in a little buffer. And this amount of seconds, this amount you enter here will be added to the recording. So if somebody walks to the camera, before the camera actually identifies the motion, you still get the extra 3 or 5 seconds. Now, if it is a front door, click on the more button. I forgot to mention that. You'll see more here. So if you click on the more button, then now you see a little bit more. Many things you can ignore for now. If it is a front door and you're worried that somebody might break into your house through the front door, my recommendation, leave the minimum recording time between 30 seconds and 60 seconds. If somebody comes close to a lock and only wiggles a little bit with fingers or a little tool in their hand, this might not trigger the camera, which means even though you have a security camera, it wouldn't record the actual break-in. So my recommendation, again, keep this between 30 and 60 seconds, and that's what you should do. So I'll leave mine at 30 seconds for now, and then I click set. Hold on, I did talk about the resolution, right? Small, lower resolution here for the stream and high resolution for the recording. So if I go all the way down to the bottom, and here I have my full image recording. If I turn this on and scroll a little bit further down, now I can set the recording resolution. And yes, I want this at 6 megapixel, and I want additional information in the recording as well. For example, the camera name. I want the exposure rate in milliseconds. Oops, capital E. The S is for the seconds. I want the illumination level, so how much light did the camera have. I want the frames per second, so what's the recording speed. And I want the internal temperature of the camera. And the I is for Celsius. If you're watching this from the States, you might want Fahrenheit, then it's temperature NF for Fahrenheit. Okay? So either or will work. Actually, I can leave both in and you will see. T and F. Okay. Now I copy that so that you can see. I will modify the setup here in the image. Go to text and display settings. I'll paste it here. Set my background to 75%. I like that, and click set. And now you see in the upper left corner all the informations. Now I haven't renamed the camera, it's still the base name. But you see the exposure rate, you see the illumination, you see the frames per second, and you see the temperatures, the internal temperatures. Okay, let's hit close. So far for that. Now, the next step, and I have to record this on my phone. Where's my phone? There's my phone. Is to activate the push notifications from Mobotix. So, in order to do that, I have to switch to my phone now, and we'll see us right back. Okay, so unfortunately I have a problem with screen recording from my phone at the moment, so I've had to get my tablet. Well, it's the same thing for Apple and Android, so it doesn't really matter which device I'm using. So I'm searching for the cameras. I have to enter the username and password. Now let's see. I tell you, this is not as easy as it looks. Or it is exactly as difficult as it looks, depending on how you see that. Okay, password. Now that's now the easy way. Oops, oh shoot. Where did it go? There we go. Okay. So again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Oof. Okay, 8. Okay, and then we hit OK. And no, we don't want to save it. Now it searches for the cameras. Now it will find a couple, but we only find the one I'm working with at the moment. So unfortunately, there was another issue, so it didn't search the network. I had to enter it manually. But here, this is the important part now. You have to accept the push terms of use. So we click accept. And then it asks you again if you want to enable the push notifications. And you say enable now. So this will cause the camera to be configured correctly. I will show you this in a second on the camera. Okay, so now let's see what this configured in the T26. So first we'll check for the IP notification, and if you go in here and see the transfer profiles and look at IP notification profile, then now you see here in IP notification profile 6 that there is a push notification in. It has a profile already with a code and a message. So this will be the message transferred to the Mobotix push server. Now, this message has to be triggered. So the triggering is done at the other side. And if you look here in the event control action group notification, there should be now there should be an event. Unfortunately, there is none, and I cannot explain it, but you can fix it yourself. The important thing is the IP notification profile. So if you click at add group and you basically call it ring event and enabled, of course, and you click on edit. Now you understand why it's so important that we have this ring event. So now that we'll select the ring event, and down here add as a new action, we are basically now adding the IP notification with the push notification in here. So we click set. Now a good way to test that this is working is to add another action, and my beloved action here to test things is the red frame, because that's a visual frame. So now that we click add, we click close, we click OK. Now let me push the bell button, and you see that we get the red frame, which basically confirms that our logic is working. So now now my dogs got triggered because of the bell sound. Sorry for that. Yeah, so now this is working, and now the push notifications are working, and you get it on your phone. I apologize that I can't show you this today, unfortunately, because of whatever technical issue I have. But this is how you set it up, and this is how you basically use the Mobotix-only program. Now, we do know that there are, and this is one of my cats, sorry for that. So we do know that there are issues with the push notifications sometimes. We don't know why. Could be a maintenance, could be the server issue. So we don't really know. We just know that there's an issue. This is what, or this is why we developed in the IPTECHVIEW platform a better and easier way to get calls out. So when you configure the door station for IPTECHVIEW, then a real phone call will be triggered, and your client, you yourself, will receive a phone call instead. from our testing and our experience, it's more reliable than the push notification, and it also works in areas where you don't have good bandwidth or data connection. So stay tuned for part 2. Thanks for watching. Talk to you soon.